Good morning, everyone. We're gathered here today on the territory of the Coast Salish, including the Kwantlen, the Katsi, and the Semiahmoo. And I want to welcome the Premier of the province, John Horgan, back into Surrey. And he was here last week with some great news, and he is here again. And John knows how critical services are for British Columbians. For 16 long years under the Liberal government, we saw Surrey being neglected. We saw the people of British Columbia being neglected, and we saw our seniors being neglected. We saw the damage that was done to the long-term care and to the services that were available for our seniors. And over the last 3 years, we have done lots. Lots of work has been done to improve care for seniors. And I'm very, very proud of the work that the government has done. So while the Liberals were focused on giving tax breaks to the very rich, to the top 2%, I'm very proud to have been a member of a government, a team that was focused on delivering services to everyone and having a balanced approach. And as our Premier often says, you know, it is about the people. It is about the people, and we are all stronger when we support each other. And we know that our seniors have built this province. They have worked hard. And each and every one of us has a responsibility to make sure that as they enter their golden years and the years even later than that, that they get the support they need. So today we have here the Premier and my good friend John Horgan, who is going to be talking to us about seniors, and I'm sure he has an announcement to make, and that will make life better for those who need care in their latter years. And I will say this, John, we love to have you in Surrey, visit more often, and the people of British Columbia, and especially those in Surrey, as I talk to them, they tell me that you have done an awesome job. And you know something? I agree with them. So, John Horgan.
Thanks, man. That's going to stay there. Thanks, Ginny. It's great to be back in Surrey here on the traditional territory of the Coast Salish people. I'm joined with two of my friends and colleagues, Mike Starchuk, who's our candidate in Surrey Cloverdale, and Rashna Singh, who's our candidate in Surrey Green Timbers. And I know, Ginny, that Surrey Panorama has never had better representation than the time they've had you as their MLA. And of course, you were also a former member of Parliament. I want to thank the people that are joining us here today, people who work in the seniors care sector, people who are dependent on the work in that sector. British Columbians have been through a lot over the past 7 months. The pandemic has highlighted for all of us the challenges of delivering services at a critical time in our history. British Columbians have done a great job together in bending the curve and leading the country in our response to COVID-19. And that's been a direct result of frontline workers who have been focusing on not just themselves, as many of us have done, but focusing on others as well. Caregivers are fundamental to our success, and I'm so proud of the work that they've done, not just over the past 7 months, but over the past 20 years. And I want to take you back to 2001, when the BC Liberals formed a government and immediately slashed taxes for the wealthy and the well-connected. The consequences of those tax reductions were massive reductions in services for people, and nowhere was that more evident than in care for seniors. The BC Liberals put in place a standard of the number of hours that should be given and devoted to the care for seniors in long-term care facilities, and over 17 years, they never met their own standard. In fact, when we formed government in 2017, 9 out of 10 care homes in British Columbia were not meeting the minimal standard that the BC Liberals had put in place. And it was a direct result of the choices that they made. Choices as a government to focus on those who were doing okay and leaving those that were not to fend for themselves. In long-term care facilities, employees were fired, their wages were cut by 15%, and because of the system that was put in place by the BC Liberals, workers had to reapply for their jobs every time a contract for the delivery of the service was renewed. That's outrageous, it's unacceptable, and it led to profound impacts that came home to roost during COVID-19. The outbreaks in seniors' care facilities at the beginning of the pandemic were a direct result of BC Liberal choices, a direct result of their decision to reduce the number of dollars that you could make when you worked in the sector. What's more important for our seniors than having someone care for them in their latter years? Many workers had to work in more than one location. Our first step when the pandemic hit was to eliminate that, raise the wages of our frontline workers, and make sure that if you were working in a long-term care facility, you only had to show up at one place, not multiple places. That restricted the spread of the disease and made British Columbia the envy of Canada. I participate every week in conference calls with premiers across the country. And when I heard the stories of the challenges in Quebec and in Ontario, I looked at the frontline workers here in British Columbia, the people behind me, who were sacrificing their well-being to help those who needed help most. In Quebec, the federal government had to send in the army to help people in long-term care. Fortunately, we didn't have to do that. And we've been working hard to make sure that the future for seniors is brighter than the most recent past. And today I'm happy to announce that in 2021, British Columbia will start building new long-term care facilities, making sure that private operators are giving the care that they deserve, that seniors deserve, by meeting new requirements in order to get the public resources that we send to them. We're going to increase wages for workers in the sector so that they can go to work confident that they're going to be able to feed their families. And of course, the most important thing I want to say to you today, we're going to put in place a 10-year plan, a $1.4 billion capital spend so that we can eliminate multi-room facilities in British Columbia. I believe seniors in their latter years should have the dignity of one room with just them in it. That's a goal we're going to set. It's going to take us some time to make up for the backlog because of Liberal neglect, but I believe that's a cause worth fighting for. I believe we need to also make sure that when we build those facilities with the diverse populations that we have in British Columbia, that our seniors' care facilities are culturally sensitive. We did groundbreaking work, Minister Dix and the people at PICS, that's a service that's provided here in the Fraser Health Authority, so that we are building a culturally sensitive long-term care facility for the South Asian population so they can get foods that they're familiar with, they can hear music that they understand, and they can engage with staff that speak their language. These are critically important issues at a time when you're looking at the end of life for many, many people in British Columbia. Our long-term care facilities should be state-of-the-art. They should be well-staffed with people who are happy to come to work because they're getting a fair wage and they can support their families. These things sound pretty basic to me as I say them. I think all British Columbians, when they hear that we're going to improve our long-term care facilities, we're going to give dignity back to seniors, they're saying, well, of course you will. Why haven't you done it already? And it's a result of BC Liberal decisions. Mr. Wilkinson is now saying that he wants to eliminate the provincial sales tax, putting an $8 billion hole in our provincial budget. We need to provide services for people now more than ever. BC Liberal choices in 2001 led to devastation in our long-term care sector. Another turn back to the past with Andrew Wilkinson will put us in the same position. I'm encouraging people today to consider long-term care, consider your seniors, consider your grandparents, and let's vote for making their lives better. Let's vote NDP on the 24th of October. Thank you very much for your time today. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.